pull up a cup of coffee, and let's get this party started.
We're the uplines you didn't know you needed, but now you have.
This is the podcast for women who are building a direct sales business, but want to do it the right way.
Melanie has a decade of experience in direct sales. She's earned the top in industry 4 years in a row and has grown a multi-million-dollar organization. She gives a no BS approach to leadership, recruitment, and organization.
And my bestie Katy has you covered with the rest. From the relationships, the do's and don'ts of branding, her content has been viewed by millions. She doesn't just talk the talk, but she teaches people how to create an intentional brand too.
All right, let's get this party started. Well, hey everyone, it is Katy and Melanie of the Direct Sales Done Right podcast with a really exciting episode. We have actually just hit 5 years.
We have.
That's crazy.
It's hard to believe.
Yeah, it wasn't Direct Sales Done Right at first.
Yep, it was the Make Chic Happen podcast.
It was.
Yes.
Well, the podcast wasn't even with us at the very beginning, right, of our company. We're celebrating 5 years with the company. As owners of the company together.
Yes, we did the start of the podcast like 5 months into us working together.
Which is insane, but it wasn't Direct Sales Done Right. We changed that
a year ago.
About a year ago, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's been a journey. It has been wild. So many changes in our personal lives, so many changes with even just business, because we have other ventures outside of what we do here at Chic Influencer. The way we thought our business was going to go and what it's evolved into, wildly different.
For
which
sure.
Is amazing and so fun to watch just how it's grown and evolved over the last couple of years. But true story, I'm going to actually share this part of it. When we actually created Chic Influencer, we threw around names.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
I do.
And one of the names we threw around at first when we thought of Chic Influencer was MK. It was just MK
Inc. or MK Corporation, something like that.
So we loved it. We were like, it's simple. It's Melanie and it's Katy and branding and what I know about branding. I'm like, no, you don't want to make your name the center of the company anymore. You really want to think about how you serve. But your husband walked up to us as we were going over these names and he was like, you're going to call it MK. You're going to call it MK. And his face was just okay. And he said it was the most ridiculous thing. And the way he said it, we were like, all right, let's throw that away.
Throw that out. Yes.
We're not going to use that.
Yeah.
So we decided it was chic because we really liked the idea. We both kind of look at the word chic and go, that really does encompass us in our own ways in the company itself. What we didn't realize is how many people would mispronounce the word chic. Chick. We get chick.
We get chick influencer all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And usually, it is men and women
all
that
the time.
call it
or
chick
cheek.
influencer.
We get cheek sometimes
too. Do you
too.
really? I've never gotten that. I just get chick influencer.
Chick influencer. And even the word influencer, we've kind of realized, we don't really see ourselves as influencers. And we don't really don't even offer services so much for influencers as we do for people who are marketers and who are really looking to build their direct sales business. So evolution is wild. It's been fun to see how that
do you
has
feel
changed.
like we'll ever change our name from Chic Influencer?
I think we've already started to evolve it. It's really, I think people start to know us more as Direct Sales Done Right because we've just been using that name so much.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who actually knows what's going to happen in the next couple years? But the whole purpose of today's podcast is we get asked so many times about questions specifically about how we started a business, when we knew it was time to start a business, how we created a business plan, how we knew we could work together in this capacity. And we thought it would be a really good opportunity for us to walk through some of the mindset shifts we had to have to really create a multi-million-dollar business and really just educate you on why the mindset towards success is so important, no matter what industry you're in. So even if you're listening to this going, well, I'm in direct sales, I don't really have an interest in starting another business. The tips that we're going to share today are really about what you need to have here in your mindset to really grow financially, grow spiritually, grow in wellness, grow in all of these capacities. It all matters. So we're going to walk them through that today. Right over there?
I have a tiny little piece of fuzz or something in my eye.
So this is why people should join us on YouTube because you are over here ready to
it actually hurts.
Do you need to
No, I think I'm okay.
Are you good?
Oh, it's twitching and starting to water, but it's all good. I've got this. I've got this. As you're talking about this 5-year journey, I just think about how when we started the company, you know, I know we're going to talk about the mindset today. And I know when we started the company, we had a vision. We sat down, and that's really the first part is like having a vision for where you want to go and being really clear in, you know, who you want to serve and really being clear in the direction that you want to take your company or your business opportunity. And the one thing that I always think about is that Katy and I, when we started Chic Influencer, we said we want to help women in business bridge the gap from where they are today to where they want to go tomorrow. And I remember us on these white sheets of paper on the floor of our offices, just drawing out this gap, right? Almost imagine like two mountains, and there's the ravine in the middle. And we were like, what are all the things that business owners struggle with? It's their branding, it's their marketing, it's, you know, social media, it's emails, it's communication, it's time management. And so we really were like, we can help everybody. And so we created this vision of who we can help and how we can help everybody. And I giggle at ourselves now because we weren't very niched down.
No.
We, you know, even though we had a clear vision of what we wanted and where we wanted the business to go, we were not very niche down. We really felt like we could help everybody. And if I could say one of the lessons that I've learned is like niching down right from the get-go would have been something that maybe would have caused us a lot less problems on the back end. Because now we have to actually look at it and go, what do we have to take away? Because there's a lot of services that we offer. And it's kind of just challenging those of you that are listening to have a vision with a very specific ideal target audience and a very specific service you can start with.
So one thing that you mentioned in there that I want to speak to is we believe you can help a lot of different people. And that's where we almost went wrong at first is we did, and we did help a lot of different types of business owners at first. But what happens is when you have this sort of creative flow and this mindset, you become really good at serving something very specific. And we realized that we were doing a lot of things well, but we weren't really on fire for one thing until we became observant of how our gifts really flowed into those specific things. And so even today, as the business has grown, we know that you have done a lot with recruitment. That's something you're really passionate about. And I do a lot with writing and marketing and helping people like really clarify their messaging so that they speak to their ideal client versus at them.
Right.
And so we realized we had to kind of step into those gifts, which meant there was a lot of other things on the table that we had to go, yes, this made us income, but is it really where we can make the strongest impact? And when the answers became no, we were able to say, we're going to kind of stop this service, put it over here, or we're going to look at this service again and figure out how to work it into what we best do. So there was a lot of conversation about that. It isn't always as black and white as just like what brings us the most income, because it doesn't work that way either.
Right. You really do. And that's one thing too, is you have to really try things out. We try a lot of services over the past 5 years. You know, we've done a lot of mentorships or even masterminds. We've done some courses, some products, where at the end of the day, we will look at each other, and sometimes it's me. Katy may say, I love this service. And I might say, it sucks the life out of me. It doesn't bring me joy, or vice versa. You might say, I really don't like this. And I'm like, I love it. And so it's been this process of us saying, hey, it's okay if we don't love it together. We can actually do different things, right? But we also are not forcing ourselves to do things that don't bring us joy. And that's really important as a business owner, to create a business that you feel like your cup is being filled, and it's not just you having to make money. You know, and it's like rethinking it a little bit, looking at the services differently. And we've really looked at profitability too. I will say one of the biggest challenges has been, I love this service, but it's not scalable. You know,
so hard.
It is really hard. And when you're looking at growing your income, we all cap out. We all cap out in how much we can do on our own. So you do have to look at what is the scalability of the products and services that we have to offer.
So our first tip really was starting with this vision of knowing where we wanted to go, but also not being married to the outcome. I really think is tip number one, just to let yourself evolve and feel feel the feels with what things you love, what services you love, and then the ones that you don't love, but also being aware of what's my profitability. How can I really do this in a way that maximizes income potential? So that's really tip number one. Okay. Let's talk through tip number two, which is a very humbling tip. And here's the truth. Melanie and I a lot of times get a lot of feedback from people who know us, whether in the community or people just who know us through as professionals in the business space. And one thing we hear from them is, I don't know how you do it all. And I want to just sort of preface this by saying we do have a team of people who do help us. And there are times where we can look at each other and go, I feel like right now, and even right now, I've said this to you this morning, we can really go, I feel like I have a little bit too much on my plate mentally or something isn't working. But you just really want to be aware that there are going to be seasons of your business where from the outside, it might look like everything is rainbows and butterflies. But on the inside, if you start to see that you have too much on your plate, you realize you can't do it all really, really well. And there have been times in our business, and if you hear my dog in the background, she's just hanging out. There will be times in your business you don't always get it right. You don't always get it right. And for Melanie and I, there have been times where we have let somebody down, or we have just not brought our A game with services. We've tried our best, but maybe it just didn't work out the way we we expected it to, or maybe we went in with high expectations of how to serve, but our capability, we just weren't there. And so there's been times in our business where we have to own the fact that we don't always get it right. And that means we have to have open conversations with each other on things that we feel like, you know what, I didn't serve as well as I thought I would. I'm kind of running out of ideas for this client. This isn't really quite connecting with the people who enrolled in the course. How can we make this better? So there's an open conversation with the two of us on things that aren't working. And we have to be humble enough to own what isn't working and our role in what isn't working, but also humble enough to receive feedback. And every time that a client has said that they didn't like a service or it didn't work for them, and over 5 years, that's going to happen. Instead of just saying it was the client's fault or it was, not on me, we've done a really good job of owning our role and saying, how can we get better? What was our role in this and how can we get better, and communicating that with each other, and then applying the knowledge of what we learned through the experience to the services that we offer or with our team. And I feel as though that has been a huge thing over 5 years, is really listening to feedback, knowing when we don't get it right, and just making a commitment to getting better.
I agree. And one of the biggest things, even for you guys listening, if you find that you're not getting testimonials from your services that you're offering, it could be with your direct sales business. If you listen to this and you're an entrepreneur and you have your own services, that's also something that we're always paying attention to. If we do a service and over again there isn't a testimonial, people aren't getting results. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. You really have to, like you said, be humble enough to go, where could I improve? And to kind of peel back the layers. So for us, we get really crystal clear, like when people aren't getting results, are we not asking them to get into action right away? Are we not delivering services in a way where it's clear what the expectations are? Are we not following up with them in a timely manner? Are we giving them too much information and they're overwhelmed and they're shutting down and not taking action? Did we want to create a course that was completely hands off from the two of us, but we have nothing to show for it? Do we need to step in and offer Q&As or live coaching or something along those lines? So you're looking not just at the service you're providing, but you're looking at the outcome that you're getting. And if people aren't happy, you are really evaluating, how do I make it better? And that process is something that we work really, really hard on, is just asking those deep questions of, how do I create customer loyalty? How do I get people to come back? And one of the things that I love about what we do here at Chic Influencer, and we were having this discussion on a meeting this week internally with our team, is they were like, ladies, like, our customers, when they purchase, they repeat purchase. We actually have people that come in, they might do the community, then they buy the academy, then they go into recruitment, then they do branding, they do one-on-one. Like they are repeat purchasers. And so we do have a really high spend per customer. And I will say that's because we serve really well.
Yeah.
And if we don't serve well, we find a way to fix it and make it so that the next person coming in does. And I love that about what we do.
Sure.
We just aren't like on to the next, oh, well, move on.
Right.
You know, we really are, how do we serve? And maybe that goes back to who we are as people.
Maybe.
We really do care. We don't want to just take somebody's money. We really want to say, how do we help you achieve the desired results?
Yeah. And it also goes into the fact that we have been in business for 11 years. So I think that just the experience of customer service, it really does matter. And even if you've been in any of our courses, we speak about healthy pipeline. If you've read the Direct Sales Done Right book, the healthy pipeline is all about serving well. And that's in section 4 of the book. If you don't have it, I do encourage you to grab it. But healthy pipeline matters because that customer loyalty means that people are repeating because of you, the experience that you bring to the table, not just the services that you offer.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go on to the next one, number 3. I'll let you lead with this.
All right. So decisions made in a partnership can't be impulsive, and they take a lot of trust. It's our talking point for this one. So I was actually we didn't get a chance to really banter this morning before we hit record today, but we have Matt's having some guy friends come in this weekend, right?
Okay.
So some of his buddies are coming in. They're all going to the Steeler game on Sunday. So one of the buddies came in last night, right? So I was getting ready to leave this morning, and we were chatting at the kitchen table about big vision and detail oriented person. And I was saying that sometimes I get frustrated because I'm a big visionary and I am like a roar, let's go, let's make it happen. And I'm married to a detail oriented, and we call Matt the dream killer. I mean, I say it with a lot of love, right? But like, he's very detailed, and his first reaction is to shut anything down that I am like excited about, right? Because he thinks of all the reasons that it won't work. My business partner is the exact same way in terms of like detail oriented, thinks of like the things, really, you do think of what won't work a lot of times before you think of all the things that will work. It is very much a wiring. And so sometimes that's a challenge for me, and I will be transparent. You know this, I get frustrated sometimes because I'm like, just do it. Why do I need to explain the details? Like, we'll figure it out as we go. So for me, I've really had to learn how to slow my roll. And this is great. I actually love this. I'm not complaining in any way, but I have learned to go, okay, if I really feel firmly about this idea that I have, how about if you think through some of the details before you just spit it out to Katy and or Matt? Usually they're both involved in those big decisions. So I love that decision making has changed for me a little bit, because I've had to say, you have a lot of ideas in that noggin of yours, but what are the right ones, and what are the right questions that you want to ask? And, is this the best decision for the company? And so decisions, I've had to learn that like, I can't be impulsive with all of the things that I want to do. I've learned to slow my roll and ask some good questions. And that's been really great. And I believe that if we wouldn't have done all the work, or maybe we just weren't the people that we are, that could have been a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Like, you could have been like, I can't work with somebody that just is always running to the next thing and not thinking it through. And I could have been like, I can't work with somebody that, doesn't want to make decisions fast, because it's actually been such a powerful dynamic that has made us really good at what we do. And so I just feel like, but a lot of that meant we had to trust one another in the process, really trusting each other.
There's so much truth to that. And even as you're listening to this, and maybe it's a spouse or a business partner, or whatever it might be, and you're thinking to yourself, I am that person who's big vision, or you're thinking to yourself, oh, I question everything, I challenge everything. I'm like, I am safety first, like with every decision. There has to be a little bit of catch and go. Like, it has to be a little bit of like, I understand her perspective. And even recently, we really looked at a possible investment for our business and we wanted it so bad. We were like, yes, this is it. But something held us back from doing it. And I asked really hard questions. And I remember thinking, if we felt both really confident about this, there would be a piece with it. And there wasn't a piece with it. So it was very hard for us to move forward with that. With that being said, I also realized it gave me a perspective of there are some things that we're metaphorically in that ravine that you spoke about before, that we're like, all right, if we get to the next level, we're going to have to make some decisions. And I also looked at where Melanie's talking about with the vision, and I was able to say, we do have to make some investments. This is not the one, but we have to start doing some research and learning a little bit more about what the right one is. So I want you to understand that it's great to have a big vision. You absolutely need a vision for where you're taking your business, but you also need to really think about the small details it's going to take, who's going to be impacted by those decisions as you move forward in your business. So I think that there's some validity to both. And I think that's also why our partnership has worked really well. Sometimes uncomfortably, like it.
But I feel like that's how any relationship is. We sometimes joke that we are married, right? Like we sometimes spend more time with each other than our spouses. And it is like a marriage in a sense. You have to learn to be a good communicator. You have to learn to listen to what the other you have to take their wants and needs into consideration, and you can't be selfish about that. It's a give and take, and that's important. Although we do challenge each other, we do challenge the other person's thinking and ask the difficult questions. And we've learned to not take it personally, but to know that it comes from a place of both wanting what's best for the company and best for our families and best for, our future.
Love it. All right. So I feel like 4 and 5 really go together. So I'm if it's cool, I'm going to combine this. So 4 and 5 is you have to have fun building a business. I feel like so many times we can get really, really wrapped up in the goals, the vision, the like go forward moving, go, that we forget to look around and say like, this is fun. Like I enjoy that I am serving people well. I enjoy the people that I work with. I am loving who I'm becoming through the process. And so you have to make room to be playful with your business. You have to make room to enjoy it, because if not, it's really going to feel stuffy. It's really going to feel like work. And now there are seasons when things haven't felt so fun, but we always kind of give ourselves a gut check and say, okay, how do we get back to things that we enjoy? So for example, one of the things we realized in 2024 is we were moving away from doing a lot together because we were doing 2023. Like we were doing a lot together. So as we were planning out 2024, we were like, there's a few projects that we want to do more together because we enjoy it. And even though, yes, profitability matters, we're also looking at it like, so does our mindset, so does our joy factor, so do the things that we give to the universe, because when we really feel like we are in our zone of like creativity and we're enjoying the work, that energy comes back.
It does.
Yes. So as we were planning ahead, it wasn't so much about just what is the vision of the profitability, like what do we want to end the year at? We were also like, how do we want to feel while we're doing the work that we do? So having fun in your business.
I love it. All right. So having fun is key. Finding joy in the moments, not getting so wrapped up into work. Okay, so the last point that we want to make today is about just giving ourselves the space to really grow in our own gifts. And, when we launched the very first edition of our social media planner, it was actually called the Make Chic Happen Planner. And the two of us did it together. We sat down and we went through, the writing process, the editing process, and we were very early in our business building year. So there's just a lot we didn't know about one another for sure. But I loathed the process of editing, like loathed it but now I actually think I would be fine today, to be honest with you. But then Katy was like, that was so much fun. Let's write a book. And I was like, I don't want to write a book. I was like, I don't want to do that. Right. And so Katy kept going, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. I want to write a book. And so one day she was just like, I'm writing a book. And so I really was like, okay, write the book, because it wasn't a gift that I necessarily was super passionate about. But me saying no to that wasn't really serving her talents
Right.
and how she likes to serve people. So really encouraging your business partners to go out and do what they feel called to do is really important. And likewise, I am very passionate about public speaking and hosting events. And in 2024, that's my challenge to our company, is to do a little bit more of that, and I love leadership and the recruitment side of things. So I've gone off and created my Rockstar recruitment course. And so we've really been able to say, like, these are our gifts. Let's go out and go deeper on those gifts, instead of saying, if it's not something we're going to do together, then we're not going to do it at all.
Right.
That's key.
And even if we did those things together, I don't think it would end up as well as it did. So Rockstar recruitment, it wasn't something that I was really passionate about.
Yeah.
Just these leadership sort of styles that you have, that isn't something that I get really itchy to like do more of.
Right.
I love writing. I love editing. I love the process of teaching people how to write. And so we looked at that and we went, why wouldn't we kind of part on those things, allow each other some space to actually grow in our gifts? Because when you grow in your gifts, you become a blessing to other people.
Right.
So we wanted that to be the case. It's not just about the income that you make. It's really about the impact that you're capable of making as well. So those are kind of the lessons that we've learned along the way. But more importantly, these are things that you want to consider, whether you're building a business on your own, you're thinking about going into a partnership, whatever it might be. We want you to know that here at Chic, we are committed to helping you build a business that you love from the inside out. So just feeling good and passionate and excited about what you do.
Yeah.
So
And I think 2024, we've already been in the planning mode of what's coming. And I'm telling you, this is like Chic 2.0 coming your way in 2024. We have taken so much from the past 5 years and really just making sure that we continue to serve you guys. So if you are not on our podcast list, you need to go to the show notes right now. You need to make sure you're on our podcast list. You subscribe to our newsletter, because we've got some big things that are going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. So do not miss out. And before we close it out today, just want to do a review of the week. It's so important that we really share one of our customer testimonials from inside of our community. So the community, this is from Leanna. She said, the community has helped me so much. I've been a partner for 6 years and have been feeling so stuck every year. I set these big goals, but always feel stagnant in my growth. This community, she's referring to the Direct Sales Done Right community, was exactly what I needed. I now have accountability and support towards my goals. You guys, if you are lacking community, lacking that vision and clarity of the roadmap of where you want to go, we invite you to come check out the Direct Sales Done Right community. So we'll see you back here for another episode.
see you guys next time.
All right, so if you loved today's episode, make sure you head over to wherever you listened to the episode today and leave us a rating and review. And also take a little screenshot and tag us on Chic Influencer. We'll feature you in our stories. Plus, we'd love to get your feedback and hear from our listeners.
Until next week, let's make Chic happen.